with the key of David and by the sound of my voice, plead the blood of Holy Yeshaya over this video, over our communication, minds, body, spirits, and our hearts, over everyone watching. Okay. I am Queen Rashanya Oria, and I come to you in the name of Holy Yeshaya, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Okay, what I am about to share is of importance of what Father Ahaya has been showing a few of us in the body of Christ, okay? When it comes to Trump, okay? Father Ahaya is exposing, all right? It is time for his judgment. So he is exposing what has been in the darkness, all right? It is now coming to the light. October 5th of 2025, Father Ahaya had given me a vision of Trump carrying a little girl body. It was a black little girl, okay? The body appeared to be dangling in my spirit. I felt she was dead. He carried her body over to a tunnel and threw her body down the tunnel, and the vision ended. Okay? My sweet sister, Queen Odio, just shared some very important information, okay, on the Epstein files. It is very disturbing, okay, where this man, Sasha Riley, whom also was raped by Trump or other people who were trafficking these kids, okay? So this man is explaining what happened to himself as well as the little black girls, okay? So I'm going to try to pull up. All right, here it is. This is very graphic, guys. It's very disturbing.
People like him, like Trump, that was his last name, Habel, I think, Staff Sergeant Habel. I just remembered it. Because I could picture his face, and I just couldn't remember his name.
Habel, okay. Habel.
Yes, I'm relatively certain on that name. I don't have the best memory. I was in a blast in Iraq, and one of the things that I struggle with mightily are names.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly sure that's his name.
Okay. And in terms of the films they had, so there was obviously a collection of pornography. Is there anyone you're in contact with of those your commanding officers that would they talk to you? Would they provide evidence? Or is it a situation where
Michael Bayless is the only one that I remember speaking to about it. I have not spoken to him since I left Fort Carson in 2011. I would think that he would probably remember something like that, just the unusualness of it. You know, first sergeants deal with things day in and day out, but I would think that he would remember that just because of how it's not every day that you have to deal with something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But it is possible. I think my commanding officer's name at that time was Captain Colasanto. But I'm not sure because you get commanding officers come and go. You know, the first sergeants, they tend to stick around longer.
Yeah.
But commanding officers are a lot of times they're only there for a year or two, and then they're off to the next thing. So
okay.
My recollection of the commanding officer may not be accurate.
What's the spelling of his last name? Colasanto?
Cola, Colasanto.
Okay. Saint Cola.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you think would be helpful to talk about right now about then? The time frame? That was the first time anyone had ever mentioned to you anything about the films other than when you were involved in filming? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the first time that I can recall anybody that it ever coming up, I always knew that they were, that the films, at least one or two of them were out there. I don't even know how many times I was filmed, but I can tell you that some of them are extraordinarily horrible. I can give you one instance where they were filming us. It was me and a girl that I knew, that I had been trafficked with in other venues. And while we were filming, they came in and shot her in the head. So killed her, obviously. So that would be...
Was that the runaway?
That was another girl, and I can't even remember her name. Yeah. The runaway was tortured to death in a duplex in Enterprise, Alabama. My parents did that, and that wasn't on film, not her being tortured, but that was that black girl that I'm telling you about that later on Michael Bayless had talked to me about. But they went and got her because they were afraid that this was after the investigation in Tennessee, and they were afraid that they would go down for child pornography. So they were wanting to kill her, and then they were wanting to get rid of me via an accident, but they couldn't because they had already tried to kill me several times. They had the incident in Texas involving the Chevy van. There was another instance in Texas where my dad threw me into the middle of a pool and said, "Sink or swim." And somebody saw it and called the sheriff. So there was a police report on that. And then there was a third instance in Texas where my dad threw me down a flight of stairs.